Shortly after the polls closed last night, I was endorsed by the Madison Project, the Senate Conservatives Fund, Freedom Works, and Eric Erickson down at Red State. Collectively, this group spent about $1 million against me in the primary, but they all got on board last night. So I think what you see all across the country this year is two things. Number one, we want to nominate candidates who can actually win in November. And number two, everybody wants to win. And even if we have some back and forth during the primaries, I think what you're going to see is a very unified right-of-center bloc with highly credible candidates going into the November election all across America. It was not always the case in the last two cycles, but I think it's clearly the case this time.
So do you accept the support from some of those groups who have said some pretty nasty things?
I'm happy to have them on board.
Senator McConnell, Allison Lundergan Grimes indicated that she's going to make a lot of this election against you about the war on coal in eastern Kentucky. Do you think that is an effective area of attack for her?
Well, you know, it's interesting. We took a look at the returns yesterday, and there were 21 counties in which I got a bigger percentage of my primary vote than she got of hers. Now, bear in mind, she had, I think, 2 opponents who didn't raise enough money to even file an FEC report. What did those counties have in common? Almost every one of them was a coal county. And in most of those counties, I was getting more than 70% of the vote, a bigger margin against a candidate who collectively had $4 million to spend against me than she was getting in the Democratic primary against 2 candidates who had no money. The obvious conclusion you draw is that there's a lot of resistance to Democrats in my state over the coal issue. And the only way registered Democrats in a number of those counties where there are way more Democrats than there are Republicans could express themselves was to not vote for her in their primary. The coal issue is a really significant issue in our state. We have a depression in eastern Kentucky, a depression. We've lost 7,000 coal mining jobs in the last 5 years. For every coal mining job, you lose 3 additional jobs. It's a big, big issue for us. And it's a very, you know, everybody understands who started the war on coal. It was Barack Obama. And everybody understands Barack Obama and the majority leader recruited my opponent. The majority leader says, quote, coal makes you sick, end quote. So it's a big issue in our state, and I think you began to see this, the significance of it yesterday.
Senator McConnell, there have been a number of races so far where the candidate supported by the national Tea Party groups, that Tea Party establishment, has not won. To the extent that your primaries are turning out a little bit different than they have over the past couple of years, why do you think that is?
Well, David, I hate to give the same answer you I did to Jeff, but I think the goal here is to win in November. And to do that, you have to have nominees who can appeal to a broader audience in most states. And so the fact that we're having primaries itself is not troubling, provided the ultimate candidate can actually win. And I think the difference this time is that we're in the process of nominating, I hope and I believe, in every one of these contested primaries, the most electable nominee, regardless of who may have supported whom during the primary process.